Borussia Dortmund cap off their tour of Southeast Asia by taking on the Vietnam national team in Hanoi after two big wins against the Lion City Sailors and Johor Darul Tassim. Can they make it 3 from 3 before it's back to Germany in time for Christmas? Well, the action would start in BVB's favour. Donyell Malen, probably the standout player here on tour. In the mix again, gets the shot off, but it's a good save by Nguyen Van Thuan in between the sticks. However, it was Vietnam then with the next chance in the game. And the hosts, well, with a good performance in the first and second half. Phan Van Duk, one of their star players, testing the keeper. But the BVB shot stopper coming up with the stop. Then it was time for Donyell Malen to do what he's been doing best in Southeast Asia, and that is find the back of the net. Another goal for the man who, well, has been everything in terms of going forward for Dortmund here in this spell of games. And he's found the back of the net with the help of the inside of the post 13 minutes into this encounter. However, Vietnam were constantly looking to get themselves back on level terms. Nguyen Tien Linh with a shot from distance, but Alexander Meyer with a simple save to keep him out. Then Brushinski out wide to Malen. Malen goes it alone but can't keep the shot down. 23 minutes in, Dortmund nearly with a second. Same for Donyell Malen. Could have perhaps played it back across the middle, but was always going to go for goal himself there. Fast forward into the 36th minute now. Save, parried away, but into the path of Nguyen Tien Linh. And Vietnam deservedly have their equaliser. A really good encounter. And 1-1 of probably a fair scoreline with chances at either end. And it was the hosts who had finished the half stronger and on the front foot as well. Decent little dink over the top. Brought down on the swivel, and it's a save again by Alexander Meyer. Was sent the wrong way by Nguyen Tien Linh, the goal scorer, Vietnam's first. But a right leg in the right place at the right time, keeping things at 1 apiece at the break. Into the second half we go, and plenty of changes for both sides here in Hanoi. Semic to Pajalic. Loses out. It's picked up by Papadopoulos, who gets the shot off, slicing across it with the outside of the right boot. Was travelling towards that top right corner, but Nguyen Van Thuan with a simple save. Then it was time for Vietnam to look dangerous again. Mats Hummels can't stay on his feet, and a good chance there for Nguyen Van Thuan. Danger not quite over, and the goal scorer in the first half with the follow-up, but Nguyen Tien Linh denied by the new man in between the sticks, Marcel Lotka, in the second half for BVB. Then on the hour mark, ball through to Pullman. Scored a great goal against JDT just a few days ago, but denied by the woodwork here against Vietnam. Just lets the ball run through his legs. First to react as well. Drags it across, looking for the far corner, but the post says it's a no-go. Just a minute and a half later, lovely ball over the top. Pullman involved again. Did everything right. Brings the ball down beautifully on his chest. Good touch to settle himself, but can't find the target. Then things picking up for Vietnam once more. Lotka called into action. And then Koulibaly brought down as Haduk Ching found his way through on goal. Tries to nick it past the keeper, but instead plays it straight into Lotka. The score still 1 apiece. End-to-end stuff in the second 45, with both teams looking to try and snatch a winner. As the clock was running down, Pajalic's shot from just outside the box takes a wicked deflection and finds its way into the side netting. The corner just a moment later. And also dangerous, punched away, comes out to Michel, another half-time substitute. But the youngster thought he'd scored. In the end, it was a good save by Nguyen Van Thuan. Vietnam into the final 6 minutes of the game. Koulibaly with the challenge, and it's a reckless one as he brings down Vu Van Tang. And Vietnam with a chance to snatch victory right at the death. The number 10, Pham Tuan Hai, well, thought about taking the penalty, but then Emre Can, realizing that there was a problem with the goal frame, and it would take a while until that was fixed, with Emre Can giving the orders and Marco Reus watching on from the sidelines. Eventually, the number 10 would be able to take the penalty, and he would take it well, slotting it into the top shelf. Pham Tuan Hai giving Vietnam a 2-1 lead, and that penalty and finish would be the winner when it was all said and done. So not the win that BVB were hoping for in their third and final encounter, but it still brings an end to a fantastic tour of Southeast Asia. Smile on everyone's face, enjoyable from start to finish, and plenty to talk about.